Do you feel restless, like your life no longer fits who you are? Maybe your daily routines, the people around you, or even your own thoughts suddenly feel out of place, leaving you unsettled. It's confusing, isn't it? But what if this discomfort is a sign of something bigger? Carl Jung believed that before your life changes in a profound way, your inner world sends subtle signals, nudging you toward a truer path. These feelings aren't a mistake. They're the first whispers of transformation, a call to step into a life that aligns with your deepest self. In this video, we'll explore 5 powerful signs that your life is about to change, helping you understand and embrace this journey. I'm here to guide you through it, step by step. Let's begin with sign 1, a persistent inner restlessness. The first sign that your life is about to change is a persistent inner restlessness, a subtle but undeniable feeling that something isn't right anymore. You might wake up one day and notice that the routines you've always followed, like your morning coffee or your commute to work, feels strangely empty, as if they don't belong to you anymore. Carl Jung taught us that this isn't a sign of failure or ingratitude. It's the earliest signal that your soul is expanding beyond the life you've built. It's like outgrowing a favorite sweater. It once fit perfectly, but now it's too tight, too small for who you're becoming. I've seen this in so many people I've worked with over the years. There was a man named Robert in his late 50s who had always loved his quiet evenings reading by the fireplace. But one day those evenings started feeling suffocating, like the walls of his cozy home were closing in. He couldn't explain why, but he kept asking himself, "Is this all there is?" At first he tried to ignore it, thinking he should be grateful for his stable life, but the restlessness grew stronger, following him everywhere. Jung would say this is your psyche speaking, urging you to grow beyond your current circumstances. That discomfort isn't a problem, it's a sacred call to honesty, a sign that the life you've constructed was for a version of you that you've outgrown. You might find yourself questioning things you never questioned before, like why your job doesn't excite you anymore, or why conversations with certain friends leave you drained. These feelings can be unsettling, even lonely, because you're caught between two worlds, the one you know and the one that's calling you. It's tempting to numb this restlessness with distractions, like diving into work or scrolling through your phone, but it will keep coming back until you listen. So, if you're feeling this inner stirring, don't push it away. Sit with it, even for a few minutes each day. Ask yourself, what's trying to emerge here? That restlessness is the first breath of a transformation, a sign that something greater is waiting for you on the other side. As that restlessness starts to stir, you'll notice another sign that points to a deeper shift on the horizon. Moving on to sign 2, intolerance for inauthenticity. As that restlessness grows, you'll likely notice another sign, an intolerance for inauthenticity that makes it hard to tolerate things that don't align with your true self. Carl Jung believed that when your life is about to change, your soul awakens, refusing to let you settle for anything false, whether it's a relationship, a job, or even a way of thinking that no longer feels right. Suddenly, the things you once put up with, like a friend's constant negativity, a job that drains you, or pretending to be someone you're not, become unbearable. I've seen this in so many people I've worked with. There was a woman named Clara in her early 60s who had always smiled through family gatherings, even when her sister's passive-aggressive comments hurt her deeply. But one day, she found herself unable to keep up the pretense. She walked away from the table, mid-conversation, feeling a fire inside her that wouldn't let her stay silent anymore. At first, she worried she was being too sensitive, but Jung would say, "This is growth, not weakness." Your soul is recognizing that it's been playing small for too long, and it can no longer betray itself just to keep the peace. You might notice this in small ways at first. Conversations that used to entertain you now leave you exhausted, or environments that once felt comfortable now feel heavy, like they're pulling you down. You might find it harder to say yes to things that don't feel right, harder to smile when you don't mean it, harder to stay in spaces where you have to hide your true feelings. This intolerance isn't about becoming judgmental, it's about your spirit demanding more, asking you to honor what's real within you. It can feel isolating, especially if the people around you don't understand why you're pulling back. But Jung would remind us that this is a sacred part of awakening. You're not obligated to stay where your soul feels trapped, to dim your light to make others comfortable. This shift might bring moments of doubt, where you wonder if you're asking for too much. But trust that inner fire. It's guiding you toward a life that's more honest, more alive. That intolerance is a sign you're ready for something greater, a life that reflects the truth of who you are. With that intolerance awakening inside you, you'll start to notice another sign that your life is shifting in a profound way. Now, let's explore sign 3, naturally letting go of old attachments. With that intolerance awakening within you, another sign your life is about to change is the natural letting go of old attachments, a process where the things that once defined you start to lose their emotional grip. Carl Jung taught us that as we grow, the relationships, habits, and identities that served us in the past can become limitations, and our psyche begins to release them to make room for something new. You might notice this as a quiet distance from what once felt essential. A friendship that used to mean everything now feels less important, or a hobby you loved no longer brings you joy. I've seen this in so many lives I've witnessed. There was a man named George in his late 60s who had always been the go-to person for his extended family, fixing everyone's problems. But as he approached a new chapter, he realized he no longer felt the same need to be that person. He started saying no to their constant demands, and to his surprise, he didn't feel guilty. At first, he worried he was becoming cold, but Jung would say, "This is clarity, not detachment. You're not abandoning anyone. You're evolving, letting go of what no longer aligns with who you're becoming." You might feel this with a role you've played, like the caregiver, the overachiever, or the peacekeeper, or even with material things, like a house that once felt like home, but now feels like a burden. This letting go isn't forced. It happens naturally, as if your soul is quietly untethering itself from what can't come with you into your next chapter. There might be moments of guilt or fear, especially if you're letting go of people you love, but Jung would remind us that what's truly yours can't be lost. Only what's out of alignment will fall away. This process can feel like a small death, a mourning for what you're leaving behind, but it's also a birth, a clearing of space for new connections, new passions, new truths to enter. So, if you feel those old attachments fading, don't cling tighter. Thank them for what they gave you and let them go. That space you're creating is where your transformation will take root. preparing you for a life that's more authentic than the one you're leaving behind. As you let go of what no longer fits, you'll start to see the universe respond in ways that might surprise you. Here's sign 4: disruptions as doorways to the new. As you let go of those old attachments, you'll notice another sign that your life is about to change. Disruptions that seem to come out of nowhere, acting as doorways to something new. Carl Jung believed that when your life is on the verge of transformation, the universe often steps in with unexpected changes, clearing the way for what's meant to come next. These disruptions might look like failures at first, plans falling apart, relationships ending, or opportunities slipping away. But they're not random. They're deliberate movements of a deeper wisdom. I've seen this in so many people I've worked with. There was a woman named Margaret in her early 70s who had planned to retire and travel with her husband, but their savings took a hit when their car broke down unexpectedly, forcing them to cancel their trip. She felt devastated, like life was betraying her. But a few months later, that same delay led her to join a local art class instead, where she discovered a passion for painting that brought her more joy than she ever expected. Jung would say, "This is life's fierce grace at work, removing what can't support the person you're becoming." You might notice this when a job you thought was secure suddenly ends, or a friend you relied on drifts away, leaving you feeling lost. At first you might panic, thinking you've done something wrong, but these disruptions are invitations, nudging you out of a comfort zone that's become a cage. They're the universe's way of saying, this isn't for you anymore. Something better is coming. It's tempting to resist, to try to fix what's breaking or cling to what's slipping away, but Jung would urge us to trust the process. That job loss might lead to a new career that lights you up, or that ended friendship might make space for someone who truly sees you. These disruptions aren't punishments, they're preparations, clearing the path for a life that aligns with your true self. So, if everything seems to be falling apart, take a deep breath. Look beyond the immediate loss and trust that what's leaving is making room for what you've been longing for, even if you can't see it yet. With those disruptions clearing the way, you'll notice a final sign that your transformation is already underway, one that comes from within. Finally, let's wrap up with sign 5, finding calmness and inner strength. The final sign your life is about to change is a newfound calmness and inner strength, a quiet knowing that the things that once hurt you no longer have power over you. Carl Jung taught us that as we move toward transformation, we stop reacting to old wounds, finding a peace that comes from within, not from external circumstances. You might notice this in small but profound moments where you once felt anger or sadness, like when someone criticized you or a memory resurfaced. You now feel stillness, a sense of detachment that isn't cold but wise. I've seen this in so many lives. There was a man named Thomas in his late 60s who used to get upset whenever his brother dismissed his ideas, feeling like he had to prove himself. But as he approached a new chapter, he found himself smiling instead, walking away without resentment, feeling a calm he couldn't explain. At first, he thought he was becoming indifferent, but Jung would say this is sovereignty, a sign you've crossed an invisible threshold into a deeper mastery of yourself. You're no longer bound by old cycles, no longer seeking validation for your pain or engaging in drama that doesn't serve you. This calmness doesn't mean you stop caring. It means you've healed enough to choose how you respond, to offer grace instead of reaction, to walk away without bitterness. You might notice that you're no longer swayed by every opinion, no longer need to prove your worth to those who can't see it. This inner strength comes from years of facing your pain, grieving what needed to be grieved, and choosing to stay open, even when it was hard. It's a quiet power, one that others feel without you saying a word, a stability that draws in people and opportunities that match your healed state. So, if you find yourself responding to life with more peace, more clarity, more compassion, trust that your life is already changing. That inner shift is the foundation for the new life waiting for you, one where you're free to be fully yourself, unshakable and ready for what's next. Your life is always speaking to you, and these 5 signs: inner restlessness, intolerance, for inauthenticity, letting go of old attachments, disruptions as doorways, and finding calmness, are clear signals that a profound transformation is near. Carl Jung taught us that change isn't something to fear. It's a sacred journey to a life that truly reflects who you are. If you're feeling these stirrings, trust them, even if they're uncomfortable, because they're guiding you towards something greater. Start small, maybe today. Walk away from one thing that doesn't feel right, or take a moment to sit in stillness and listen to your inner voice. You'll be amazed at what unfolds. I'd love to hear your thoughts. Drop a comment below and share which sign resonated with you most, or how you're navigating your own change. If this video touched your heart, give it a like and subscribe to Ageless Philosophies for more insights to support your journey. Here's to stepping into the life you were always meant to live.